You're listening to propsHR, an engaging startup. I'm your host, Cindy Windsor, along with my husband, Brad. We hope you'll follow our journey as a tech startup for employee recognition software with a social conscience. In addition to talking about our startup journey, we'll also talk about employee engagement and corporate charitable giving. If you'd like to learn more about our product, visit our website at propshr.com. Hi, I'm Cindy Windsor.
I'm Brad Windsor.
And we are co-founders of propsHR, an employee engagement software company that creates a culture of recognition with a social conscience.
Bam.
All right, so today we thought we would talk about our quest for users. We finished up with the beta. That went really well.
Yeah, beta was fun. It was familiar territory. We've done those before. We crushed it. Successful beta.
But we knew that we needed team trials to get our product to the best place it can be.
Yeah, beta was really more of an extended QA exercise. And UX test. People understood it, so it passed those things. It didn't really crash on people. It worked all the time. It was actually very reliable.
Yeah, people enjoyed it. They had a pleasant
they
experience from it.
And they figured it out. Maybe one or two people got stuck a little bit, but they were outliers.
But you know what? Usually that was the login, and it was only because it wasn't their email address. We gave them a fake email address to use to log in.
Actually, in every case, it's because they didn't read the directions.
You're
and it was
right.
It was all guys, too.
And I think there was one girl.
Oh, okay. That holds true. We don't read the manual.
Anyway, so being engineers, we're like, all right, we don't really know how to get these team trials going. And I think we've mentioned previously, we have an awesome sales marketing consultant who helped us understand we got to start with email campaigns.
Yeah. A couple of our advisors are seasoned HR technology sales folks, and they said start with who you know.
Right. And, come up with some type of email campaign. Yeah. And actually, we formulated one that was pretty long. There was a lot of information in it.
It was a classic email campaign. And it looked good.
It looked good, except the problem is, so we decided to reach out to contacts on LinkedIn, Facebook, email, however we could reach our contacts. We decided to do that. And I remember you looked at the email you had sent through LinkedIn, and you looked at it on your phone.
Yeah, I looked at it as the recipient would have seen it, and it was big. It wrapped through several pages on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's it's more like Twitter than it is.
Well, I don't know if it's quite.
Well, you know what I mean. It's a messaging platform. It's not an email platform. And I realized that this was 10 times too long. We were already on the short version of the thing. We'd already shortened. Oh, and that's another thing. We started with the long message.
We each sent those to a couple of contacts. Yeah. We shortened it. We sent those to a couple of contacts, and then we shortened it more.
Yeah, we realized it was still about 4 times too big for this medium. If this were an email campaign, it's lovely. It tells you everything that's going to happen, tons of information.
Well, and we received some great advice to make it a lot more personal and be more succinct.
Yeah, so we tried a bunch of different things. By the way, marketing message testing is just like testing software concepts. You try it, check out the response. If it's great, you maybe build on that. If not, try something else.
Right. Maybe you tweak the subject line. Maybe you tweak a paragraph or the way you sign off. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can tweak to get a better response.
Yeah, and we're still in big pivots, such as cutting down from 5 pages to 1 or to 3 sentences. A couple were very short, and they were entirely personal. There's no cookie cutter stuff. Just type them all to the person.
So we decided we kind of culled our list of who we were going to send it to. So the people that we know well, people who we're comfortable with.
Yes, ring A.
Right. The first tier, right? The first tier of contacts. So we sent out about a total of 50 emails or so.
Yeah, we sent out 50 emails. We got 4 or so responses back. We got a little bit more, actually, but there were 2 that were, this is cool, we're going to check with HR and get back to you. 2 were, let's have at it.
2 were, I want to see this. Yeah. I want to see a demo of your product, which is really exciting as entrepreneurs to get those first people interested in your product.
Yeah, by the way, have at it meant a demo, not a bar fight or something like that.
Thanks for clarifying.
I like to fight.
So then we were like, all right, we know we have a demo coming up. What do we do? So we pulled out a slide deck that we hadn't worked on in...
Sales deck? Yeah, sales pitch deck.
Yeah.
Month or 2?
Yeah, it had been a month or 2 since we'd really worked on it.
Which is a long time in this space.
Yes, and it was pretty outdated. I mean, our knowledge of employee engagement, culture, and corporate social responsibility has grown a great deal.
Yeah, and we discovered another ROI of this thing. The original pitch book didn't speak anything about this being a help toward recruitment, but it actually is. So we got 2 positive responses, and Cindy scheduled demos.
Yes.
Thursday and Friday of this week. Doesn't matter what this week is, but it was this Thursday and Friday.
Our focus was to have a really awesome demo for them. So we honed our sales pitch. We narrowed it down. What did we have? Like about 7 or 8 slides.
Yeah, you have actual content aside
Yeah.
from the bookend stuff. Yeah, I've seen pitch decks with like 60, 70 slides. You know, as a customer, when these guys come in, like, I sit there, I'm going to fall asleep. If it's like a 1 or 2 o'clock meeting,
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay awake for this. It's a dark room. We're watching slide 47 of 90.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so we have 7 or 8 slides. We felt pretty good about the pitch deck. And then Cindy and I practiced it on each other 4 or 5 times, actually. We ran through it. Cindy practiced it more because she was going to drive on the Thursday one. And by about the 5th or 6th time through, it sounded like you weren't reading or making stuff up.
Well, I'm just not a salesperson, so I can't go through just a script. I needed just points that I could speak to. And that really, of course, that's what a slide deck is, right? You're just supposed to have points up there that you speak to it.
Yeah, and you should know the material well enough.
You should understand the material well enough, right? So actually going through it helped me hone my message around those points.
Yeah, it was really good. And that is the best way to present to someone who knows it from the inside, just speaks from the hip. I think a lot of salespeople read right off a deck and the whole thing's scripted. That's great if you don't really know the product.
We have been doing presentations for many years, both of us.
Oh, yeah.
And we know can be a lot of technical problems with presentations.
This is a mobile phone app, by the way. There are ways to demo mobile phone apps on a WebEx type thing.
Live.
Yes. It's doable. It's a little bit risky. Things can break. The app can crash. Any connection along the way can get in trouble. And it can be no fault of your software. So to avoid these, and we've seen everything go wrong. We've been software, we've done demos for 20 years. Everything that can go wrong, we've seen. So we decided to make a video recording of the use cases being demonstrated in the app. And then we just play back the recording, speak to that.
Yes, which was a great idea. I'm so glad that you thought of that because it's a lot easier just to speak to a recording versus, let's say, something happens on your phone.
Well, you'd think.
Yeah. Well, one would think. So, we go through the recording. We had it silent because we knew we were going to speak to the recording during the demo. But I was talking out loud, of course, with it not recording it, just to see how long it would take. And then when we played it back and I tried to use those same words and had the timing the same, it just did not work.
Yeah, it's like those presentations on TV where the speaker gets out of sync with the slides. You
Yes.
know? It rarely happens on big TV, but it's really hard to do this. This is difficult. So
It is. So then we thought, hey,
yeah.
let's write out the times of everything. So then you would know once it gets to this time, you can start talking about
time
this.
mark. So at second 14, this page appears. At second 19, this page appears. And Cindy's looking at this like,
But by second 34, I was about to have a conniption.
Yeah, that wasn't going to work. This is not this is not NBC here. So we went to something very simple. Cindy just ran through the use cases and put about 2 seconds between each click. And then during the demo, you just pause the video and speak to it and then hit play when you're ready to go to the next step. There wasn't even a hiccup.
Yeah, that worked out so much better. And then just about 15 minutes before the demo, I had been speaking to the recording, in first person. I am user A and I am doing this in the app. Brad said, you should use it in third person. You should do it in third person.
What I said was I suggest you consider speaking in the third person.
You never said that.
That's exactly what I
And
said.
then you're not telling the truth.
Well, anyway, so Cindy wasn't pleased. At 15 minutes before our first demo ever, I said, hey, how about changing the whole, what's that called, the voice? Change the voice of your presentation. And she thought the timing was inappropriate.
I almost had a meltdown at that point.
I'm nervous enough already.
I was very nervous. I'm not a salesperson. I think I went through it mostly okay.
Oh, you didn't slip out of voice at all. During some of the practices, you said I and me's. But yeah, no, it was perfect. The demo went great. That all went terrific.
Although there was the demo is supposed to start at a certain time. Our prospects had set up the meeting.
Yeah, they sent the meeting invite, which is nice. It saves us time. But it was with a voice conference system that we hadn't used before. It's Google Hangouts. We use Skype for business. And we're like, okay, it's not a problem. So we connect. We do the introductions. And it turns out they can hear Cindy, but nobody can hear me. By the way, we use a business speakerphone that you plug into a laptop. It's a nice little speakerphone thing. Plantronics. Recommend it. It's a terrific device. And I was holding the thing up as if it's a walkie-talkie thing, screaming into it, trying to introduce myself, and they still couldn't hear me.
And they're like, I don't know what he's saying, but I'm sure it's something good.
Oh, they were so nice. Yeah, we're sure it was poignant. Yeah.
So I knew at that point I had to go with it, and it was all on me to complete the whole demo without any input from Brad.
Cindy was going to lead, but we were both going to talk to these things, and we knew what to talk about. We kind of knew our roles in this thing, and now I can't talk. So what I did is I walked around the kitchen with my arms crossed, brooding.
And then
Cindy ran with it.
And then he would wave his arms at me in the middle of, there's something he'd want me to say, but I couldn't pay close enough attention. I was too amped up.
It's because you were doing something wrong, and I had to wave my arms around. I don't know. It's a mess. Back in the day when Ross and I used to do this, he used to hand me notes that I couldn't read so I'd be on the phone with the customer, and he'd slide a note. You have to talk about, but I couldn't always read it. Yeah. So I'd be like, anyway, this was our version of that. So, but Cindy got through it. She nailed it. It was really cool.
It was a positive response. We were setting them up in our demo set so they can check out the app, and then we're going to have another discussion in a week or so and get them started on a team trial.
I don't know why we got so nervous. These are the nicest people. It's a friendly lead, by the way.
Exactly. Very friendly lead.
Yeah, Cindy knows the champion there, and they got it, too. They got the purpose of the app, all of it. They were great.
Then we get off the phone, and I was so amped up.
Cindy was in panic mode. You were actually in full-on
I was. I haven't had that much adrenaline rushing through me, and I don't know how long.
So for fun, we took our blood pressure. I think I won, actually. I always have high blood pressure.
No, mine was higher than yours.
Yours was higher than mine. So Cindy actually won the blood pressure competition, which shows that it really did amp up the excitement level.
Yes. So then I was like, we knew we had another demo on Friday, and so I was like, you're doing the demo tomorrow.
Yeah, next one's yours, buddy. Yeah, it's fair. So the takeaways from this, one are that they got it really quickly.
Right.
Another is that this is kind of a smallish company. And we knew that companies under 1,000 headcount really don't have a lot going on in corporate social responsibility right now.
That's true, yeah.
It's pretty uncommon. It's not their focus. Their focus is establishing, building a brand and these other things. So they weren't interested in it yet, which is cool. The software can easily be adapted to work without that, just a good recognition system. And then the idea in cases like this is going to happen a lot. Anyone under 1,000 seats probably. The idea is to leave the door open so when they're ready to get into corporate social responsibility, they can turn it on in the app.
Right, we can add that in.
It's a small lift. It doesn't even cost anything. Well, it costs charitable donations, but the software license we don't charge any difference. It's the same. Right. So we'll leave the door open, and the idea is to get them there and probably visit them every quarter or year and go, hey, you guys ready to go with the CSR? We're happy to turn it on, set it up for you. It takes 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then we had our demo today, which went well.
Yeah, today's demo was, too, a very friendly lead, someone we actually worked with for, about 10, 12 years.
Several years we worked with her, and she's our exactly who we want to, our audience of HR manager.
Yeah, she's head of HR.
Head of HR at this company.
Absolute, a target decision maker. Since we knew her, we didn't go through the deck as formally as we would have, and we asked her for feedback, and it turns out we weren't really explaining the CSR part right. We weren't explaining how it worked. We were just saying, well, it gives donations. So she didn't get it. And it turns out her company does do a lot of nonprofit stuff. They're way ahead of the curve, actually.
They are.
They're only about 500 seats.
But they're across the board. They do volunteering. They do charitable events.
Yeah. And they have a very strong sense of culture there as well.
Yes.
It's kind of unique. They're really ahead of the curve. So she got it completely. And she also got that we weren't explaining it fully. So that's a takeaway.
I think that's the benefit of being able to demo to people we know. They can give us some positive feedback on ways we can improve the message.
Yeah, and this one actually counted, though, which made it only a little bit scary. So anyway, the demo went fine. She got it. What were the takeaways from that, other than she got it? Well, the takeaway from the previous one is that we're going to move to the next step, which is a small team trial. Today's demo had the same takeaway. So 2 demos, and both moved to the next step, which is small team trials where they actually use it and thank each other for actual reasons.
Yeah, I know. It's very exciting. I think we just feel ecstatic that we have a couple of people interested in our app and they understand the benefits of it.
Yeah, everybody got it. This was we only started with the 2, but it's nice that we turned those 2 into trials. It's not that easy to leave your software with someone. I've sold before. It's actually not that easy.
Well, and I think this is a good stopping point for us, and we will talk in another episode about how now the real work begins.
Yeah, we actually have to execute this stuff now.
That's right.
It's such a good feeling, too.
It does feel good that people see value in your product.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them using it.
I know. That's going to be awesome. Anyway, that's it for another episode. So thank you so much for tuning in. Stay classy.
Stay copacetic.
Thank you for listening to propsHR, an engaging startup. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll follow our podcast and check out our website at propshr.com. If you have a question about our startup or employee engagement software, email us at info@propshr.com or tweet a question to us at propsHR using hashtag propsHRpodcast.